Howdy, howdy!
Good morning.
And welcome to But It Was Aliens, the paranormal comedy podcast where we probe paranormal activity to decide for the questionable benefit of humanity whether that activity really was paranormal. My name is Kev in the John, and alongside me with no idea what we will be covering today is Mr. Granville Moonwalker. Today, I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Before I answer that, why does it throw you off when I talk normally?
Because I'm so used to you coming out with crazy, either very high-pitched or very low-pitched shit.
Okay, the answer to your question, yes. Yes, I have.
See? Didn't throw me at all. We begin this episode...
We done the cha-cha slide.
I'm lost. Now you're throwing me.
You said if I ever danced with the devil. Yes.
Oh!
We done the cha-cha slide.
I've moved on.
You asked the question and then lost yourself.
It's a very complicated situation, all right?
How are you? I'm okay. What? What are you talking about?
I didn't ask what type of dance you did. I just asked if you danced with him. That was a yes or no.
Thought I'd give you a little bit more.
Didn't need more. I'd have asked for more if I needed it. I'd have been specific. Did he have a wandering hand?
No. It was firmly on my left cheek.
Facial or rear?
What?
Facial.
Rear.
We begin this episode in 1963, around Saltwood, a small village in Kent, in the United Kingdom. Lots of folks have got the location for this one wrong. We haven't, allegedly. It was a cold, cold night. My research has indicated that one of our subjects in this upcoming case once won an award for being the Gentleman of the Year in 1950. This man was 4 years old and was already opening doors and pulling out chairs for dem nursery bouteilles. This handsome child could count to infinity and beyond. Can you guess the name of this all-around stud?
Right. The fact that you have said Gentleman of the Year at 4, you've called him a stud. I'm going to guess that this person's name has John in it somewhere.
I just don't know why you would possibly think that.
So what you're going to say, or... So you're going to carry on and this person's name isn't going to have John in it? Kev looks around the room trying to think of an answer.
Let me introduce you to the award-winning, all-around good dude, 17-year-old John Flaxton, and John's 18-year-old mate, Mervyn Hutchinson.
So Merv is the one that won the award at 4. Merv is the stud.
Afraid not.
Pulling out chairs for nursery booties. Sounds really wrong saying nursery booties.
I'm going to cut that and put it into a different sentence and get you in all sorts of trouble. Who were you dancing with doing the cha-cha slide?
Oh, you wrongin'.
Hey, it's not me doing the cha-cha slide.
Where was the hand? Probably on my left cheek.
John and Mervyn were out with two other friends, Jenny Holloway, 16, and Tony Harrison, 17, walking along Sandling Road as this foursome of in-betweeners returned from a party. The group were heading towards the train station for Jenny to get the train home. Jenny was John's girlfriend. Stud! A group of friends walking home. What could possibly go wrong?
A lot. Were they intoxicated?
So, the drinking age has been 18 since 1923?
That's not to say that they weren't intoxicated. You know what we were like growing up?
Honourable, personally.
Drunk. Most of the time.
It's beside the point.
Honourable and drunk.
Stand up, gentlemen. The fact I was dribbling makes no difference.
You were stood up. Again, were they intoxicated?
I'm not going to say that they were.
But John was. Were they on any other types of substances?
Absolutely not any other types of substances, and that does not mean that they were on alcohol.
So no shrooms?
No shrooms.
Pills?
No pills.
No LSD?
No LSD.
No powders?
No powders.
Cocaine?
No cocaine.
So just high on life.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And ethanol.
I didn't say that. As the group...
You did not say it.
Look. Listen.
Look.
Learn.
Oh, look, some ethanol.
As the group, Raw, Sexpot, John, Melvin, Jenny and Tony walked, something caught one of the group's eye. From the heavens above descended a glowing red, circular, orb-like object. The glowing ball was about 2 meters or so in diameter and continued to drop from the sky toward a field as the group watched on in awe. The orb went past some trees before settling somewhere in the woods of Sandling Park. At this juncture, the group had a decision to make. 3 of the friends were scared and wanted to go home to get some Frosties and get their jammies on, but one of these friends was brave. Can you guess which friend was brave?
Good old Jenny.
As this honourable friend, yes, John, tried to convince the others to go and investigate the park for the benefit of humanity, something else caught the group's eye.
Intoxicated from the ethanol.
From the joys of life. Sure, you could argue that ethanol is one of the joys of life.
Did they happen to... where they were walking, was it like up a hill or down a hill, anything like that? Was there a gradient involved?
At times?
Did they see the moon go down behind some trees?
Absolutely not.
It was a blood moon?
Definitely not.
A red balloon? A sky lantern?
Based on what happens next, probably not.
Did some little kid make a paper mache head of some kind?
Definitely not. That'll make sense momentarily.
And then put a helium balloon to the back of it and just let it go off in the air?
No, I can confidently say that nobody made a head on this occasion.
Okay. What was the speed of the object as it descended behind the trees? Was it quite quick, slow? Did they have time to go home, get in their jammies, eat their Frosties, come back, and it would still be there?
No.
It's quite quick then.
Fairly quick, but I don't have it on good authority as to how quick. It was there long enough that they noticed it, but then it was gone by the time they saw the second.
So you wouldn't say it happened at speed?
I'd say it happened at a speed.
Okay.
Out of the bushes emerged an erratic, bumbling, humanoid figure. This creature waddled, and it didn't waddle away. Waddle, waddle. Till the very next day. Oh no, no. This beast with webbed feet waddled directly towards the 4 friends. The beast was 5 feet tall and resembled a giant bat. Only there was one problem. The bat was missing a head. Where is it? The creature had huge bat wings, but no bat head. It appeared to be holding a red lantern and possibly wearing a scarlet cloak without a head. At this juncture, 3 of the friends wanted to run, and one of the friends, the bravest, John, also agreed to run. Not because John was scared, but because John knew that the other 3 pals were petrified, and John, as a natural and handsome leader, wanted to make sure that his friends were safe. The group headed to the nearest police station. Remember, this was 1963, so it wasn't like they could call their parents. This was the safest location. How do you think the police treated this account?
Did the bat-like creature follow them?
We don't know at this point.
How quick did that thing move?
Well, it waddled.
You're a prick. Oh, it's going to be in my head all day.
Hell.
Gonna eat grapes.
And
So,
waddled away. Waddle, waddle.
had a lantern waddled towards them
Yep,
wearing a scarlet cloak.
possibly. They're not entirely sure.
Okay. How quick did this thing move?
Well, it
and
waddled.
also,
Not hugely quick. It waddled. You ever seen a bat walk?
no. When they ran, did the shock of seeing this thing sober them up? Or were they all over the place?
I never said
As
they
they
were
ran.
drunk.
You never said they weren't. Hence why I'm asking.
What I will say is that this did not result in sobering up,
So they stayed drunk.
or they stayed undrunk.
Did anyone fall over on their way?
Not that I'm aware of, actually, no. They all proper legged it together, and that was that.
Apart from John,
Didn't even turn around.
what were the other 3 like? Were they honourable and trustworthy?
Yeah. I mean, they were in awe of John a little bit. It's hard to stand up to that level of handsomeness and leadership capabilities.
So
So they always felt a bit inferior, but outside of that,
what they tried to do is they always tried to impress John.
well, not really. It's hard to impress someone who's so impressive themselves.
Okay. I get that. So John could say anything and the other 3 would just go ahead with it
No,
because they wanted to
they
wanted John to like them.
no.
So John could say, let's do this, and they would all just agree with it because it's John.
no.
So you're saying
But John would
they
usually be right.
they had the balls to go against John.
Well, why would they need to? John was right.
But is John right because John's right? Or is John right because they're telling him he's right?
John once reported the sky to be blue.
So did Jenny.
After
Before
John.
John. So
I feel like you're getting a bit fixated on John here.
why wouldn't I?
Touche.
Because everything you say he is. And more.
And more.
The police. I suppose it would depend on what state they were when they got there. Were they erratic? Were they calm?
Scared but coherent.
Did they stink of ethanol?
Not that the note suggested.
Did they? No, you already said they didn't have anything else, so they didn't. I reckon they tried to fob them off. Actually, what time was this occurrence?
In the evening?
Evening or like early hours of the morning?
Late evening.
I reckon they tried to fob this off onto like the rookie police officer. Like, you can go and deal with that. You know, learn the ropes, all of that jazz. So the rookie cop goes out with them. Or you've just got an old police officer, like an old head there that goes, now, children, let's not be having any of this nonsense.
In walks new recruit, Officer John.
So,
He's on the scene. Within 2 minutes, he walks out the door, comes back. He's holding the Batman by his feet. I solved it, boys.
So was this a ploy by the Johns then? To
Ploy?
grow their
What?
stature?
Oh, they didn't need to grow their stature. They were already very staturous.
4 foot?
Around.
Touche.
It's believed that the police laughed this account off at first.
Sorry, I didn't realise you'd put a picture in there.
I'm Batman.
Actually, no. I was going to say the issue with this is the bat wings are back to front, but they're actually not. So what it looks like is a furry little bat creature with no eyes.
No head, in fact. Where's the neck?
But it depends what it is. Because if this is like...
Well, it's Batman. This is Batman.
I'm thinking of this as a monster, not a creature. Because you
Batman.
just put eyes in the middle. And it's like a cute little creature with like a little eye. I'd have that as a pet. Sits on your shoulder. Just
It
flies
does look
up every now and
like
again.
if you coloured this thing green, it's straight out of Monsters, Inc.
Yeah. Or... Yeah, picture a more oblong shaped from top to bottom, not left to right, Mike Wazowski with wings.
Always watching. Always watching.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I really want it as a pet.
I'm afraid this thing can't be tamed.
How do you know?
Because I know what happens in this case. It's
You were
believed
there.
that the police laughed this account off at first. Meanwhile, other reports suggest that the three boys, after seeing Jenny onto her train, actually went straight to the Castle Hotel pub where staff member, and honestly I'm not making this up, Honourable John Huggett of the Castle Hotel confirmed that he saw the three boys as white as sheets. It wouldn't be unusual for the police to refuse to disclose records, so we can't be sure on the police, but the boys definitely went to the pub and John Huggett was definitely a sex bomb. A week later, on the 21st of November 1963, the account of the four friends became a little more believable, as if John's account wasn't enough. A 17-year-old named Keith Croucher came forward and disclosed that Keith saw a flying orb craft too. This sighting was near the local football pitch, which was very close to where the four friends had seen the craft and Batman. Half Batman? Bat body? Half bat? Bat half? What do you call this thing? Anyway. You're going to think that I'm making up these names at this point, but 2 days after Keith came forward, on November the 23rd, another honourable bastard had enough and stepped forward to help. John McGoldrick and a friend went to the location of the sightings to see if John could find the creature or craft. John to the rescue. In his investigation of the woods, John, that's McGoldrick, found evidence. Yes, evidence. John uncovered no less than 3 24-inch long by 9-inch across footprints amongst collapsed bushes and grass and whatnot. This broke to the press and reporters accompanied John M., who was 16, back to the field. On the 11th of December, whereby the bushes were reported to be glowing. I'm just going to reiterate that I haven't changed a single name in this case. It's like striking the mother load of credibility.
And we have a different version of... We have like cloaked Batman that looks more like a man than a beast.
Without a head.
At the train station.
Mm-hmm. As you can imagine, people love drawing this creature.
Have you ever heard the term, too many cooks spoil the broth?
I have heard of this, yes. And I simply can't see why you'd bring that up at this point. That feels completely irrelevant.
Too many Johns. Spoil the probe.
See, I would argue differently. I think what you really need here is another John.
Do they like cancel each other, like double negatives and stuff like that?
Honestly, as I was researching this one, I was like, surely not. 2 in one go. What? 3? What? Struck gold. I've got the most credible account ever here.
This is where you're going to tell me that you strike oil and diamonds and there's like 5 Johns in here.
When I was researching this one and I read that John found evidence and took the journalist to the field and saw the bushes glowing, which is unusually shit, by the way, and I got a bit carried away laughing and didn't really elaborate or add intonation on that point, but I was imagining this like 40, 50-year-old UFO investigator, but it's a 16-year-old.
Do you reckon they just hid something in the bush to light the bush up? He got a science kit for Christmas and he was trying it out.
I mean, we'll get into theories later on, but
Did
all
you
I
get a
could...
science kit for Christmas?
No, and I
At
wish
any
I
point?
did.
I did.
I wish I got one of those like chemical kits where you put them together and it like explodes. That'd
So-
be well fun. I had no house left, but that'd be well fun. I'd have mixed it with like bleach and stuff and tore down the neighbourhood.
When I was a kid, I had the greatest idea, but obviously never figured it out. Otherwise, I'd be a fucking billionaire.
Was
right
it
now.
free energy?
No, it was. I was trying to, like, just with a standard chemistry set that I got for Christmas, trying to reverse the effects of rust, which, I mean, would have been phenomenal.
I mean, absolutely. I don't know that you can reverse the effects, but you can remove
I know you can
rust.
remove,
Yeah,
but
can of Coke, son.
I was trying to reverse the effects.
All
of
you
rust.
needed was that Coke in your hand. If only you knew. Secret ingredient. You add that to your chemical creation. You'd have struck gold. Do you still have the recipe?
I never wrote any of this shit down. I was just mixing things together.
Bit of flour, bit of ham, bit of oil. There we go.
So I go around the corner. I'm trying to get rid of rust. Have you got any Coke? They give me a bag of white powder instead of a can. And I'm like, okay.
Put it in the
Turns
mix.
out cocaine's the key.
You put it in the mix. You stir at your finger, lick your finger. You're like, holy shit, this is good. Woo!
Would explain a lot.
I mean, what do you call half Batman? He's missing the bloody head.
Bat kid.
Do children miss heads? Where did you get that from?
Half man. Kid.
Is a child half a man? Which half? Top half or bottom half?
At 9, yeah.
I'd argue that it's just a not yet grown man.
I don't know.
Me neither.
Just bat.
Batfoot.
Where's the foot come into it?
Bigfoot.
What's another term for half?
Part bat. Portion bat.
Mini Batman.
Bat slice.
There you go. Bat slice.
Adding some years to the witnesses, a retired civil servant for the Aeronautical Inspection Board named William Waite, not John unfortunately, was identified as a further witness. William had seen an orb in the sky which definitely wasn't a plane whilst out walking his dog. I say that because this chap was experienced in aircraft, so would have been able to identify anything human-made. This orb crossed Sandling Road, the area of all of these sightings. Ooh.
What's another name for William?
Willie.
What's another name for Willie?
Bill.
I was going to go with Johnson. So
Oh, sorry.
he's a John.
Yes. The son of John. The almighty offspring.
Willie Johnson.
On top of this, shaving some years back off the mean witness age.
Oh, Willie Richard Johnson.
Willie Dick Johnson.
Probably.
The most unfortunate name ever. Sorry, on top of this, changing some years back off the mean witness age, 18-year-old Graham Leggett came forward to disclose that 18 months earlier, Graham too had seen not the orb, well, possibly not just the orb, but the bat creature too. Half bat, bat slice. Graham was walking down the road to Slaybrook Corner when Graham saw a red light. Suddenly, a bat-like figure appeared from the shadows. Graham didn't think that anyone would believe him, so Graham didn't come forward until he heard that the creature had been seen. Again. Local Reverend Stanton, meanwhile, shared that they suspected that a black magic circle was meeting in the area. The Reverend didn't make clear if they thought that this was a cultist being seen whilst dressed up, or whether the suspicion was that a group was summoning some form of ghost. This was the 1960s.
Imagine, like, hearing this and you go black magic. Like, that becomes a legitimate answer.
Olden times were crazy.
I suppose they'd look at science as black magic, really. Not always, but some forms of science, depending on the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd hope not in the mainstream by the 60s, but certainly in older times.
Yeah, not in the 60s.
It was illegal, like, at times, and blasphemous, wasn't it, to believe in science? What's the old chap with a telescope who saw the planets and was locked up in prison for ages because they suggested that planets were rotating around the sun?
No idea. It's the first I've heard of that.
Really, really famous. I don't know. This is one of those things we're going to look stupid because we can't remember it.
It's going to look even stupider because I've never heard of it.
Is it Galileo?
Galileo. Figaro.
The account of the four friends appeared in various media outlets such as the November the 29th, 1963 edition of the Kent Messenger. With the story doing the media rounds, Charles Stickland, associate of the London UFO Research Organisation, later the British UFO Research Organisation, Bufora, visited to investigate on the 6th of December 1963. Are you laughing at you, fan, from a previous episode? Love it when the acronym actually spells the word. Bufora, by the way, probe about 400 cases a year, with 95% of them hoaxes. They also hold witness support groups for people who believe they have been visited by aliens, which is decent of them. It's just a shame the Mibs have Bufora mibbing off 95% of the cases. Saying that, Bufora were the only group to endorse that famous Roswell alien autopsy video and are known to have endorsed one case which was later admitted to be a hoax. All three of the boys have confirmed the sighting and the red lantern the figure was holding in original investigations. It has since been questioned as to whether the lantern wasn't bright enough, which meant that the head was obscured rather than the beast being headless. A headless creature would be unusual, but hey, this could be an alien. Jenny has been omitted from a lot of accounts of this tale, and this may or may not be because Jenny believed that the figure was an apparition, stating that Jenny did not believe in ghosts until this event. On that note, initial accounts reported on this event as a ghost encounter, and the UFO didn't become the focus until later on. Even today, the UFO is the focus rather than half bat half. Bat slice.
Bat slice. So some thought it was a ghost.
Yeah, it's interesting how the narrative switches over time. Back then, people were much more interested in ghosts, and then over time we've become fixated on UFOs, and boom, this is a UFO case.
Or bits have been added to the story. So
Wow.
it could have started off as let's say Jenny's little brother came out and scared them, and then it turned from Jenny's little brother came out and scared them to a ghost, and then it turned from a ghost to a half bat, like man, bat slice, and then the UFO bit got brought into it, and people just kept adding and adding and adding, and over time it's taken on a life of its own, to where in reality it was probably a dog running up to them.
No,
possibly injured.
Absolutely not.
With a lantern on its side.
How many dogs do you know that carry lanterns around?
In the 60s? I wasn't there. I reckon loads.
Oh, of course. Yeah, to be fair, you've kind of nailed on the head a little bit there, in that lots of accounts of this one over time do change the details, hence why the location isn't reported accurately.
Where's the location in the...
Oh, like same kind of area, just different roads and whatnot.
Okay.
But I've gone back and looked at like the original articles and whatnot, rather than focusing on a previous podcast or article by a casual UFO researcher. So if you hear other episodes of shows covering this one, the details might be slightly different.
Fair.
They're probably all right. We're probably way wrong. So, if a ghost, who? On the 20th of August 1903, William Tornay passed away. William's Brockhill Park Estate Manor House was known to be haunted. William, at his request, was buried with his dog and horse. Why has William potentially been tethered? Maybe William didn't want to be buried with the horse, but someone did it as a joke. Other possibilities include Bigfoot. We mentioned, well, the bat kind of has big feet. Was the bat slice actually an ape of sorts? A further possibility is Owlman. Remember we covered the Cornish Owlman of Mornon, Smith, in October 2022, which was, I believe, episode 142, was a giant bird watching these teenagers, or potentially trying to warn them about the orb. For you see, when we covered the Owl Man, I think we drew parallels to another man, Mothman. We've left the main theory, though we've touched on this all the way through. Was the bat slice, an alien? Was the red orb a craft coming down and landing, and then from the craft did a half bat or an obscured Batman exit to be greeted by petrified children? Did this bat see screaming children and think F this and head on back home?
Quite a lot there. I have a question about William wanting to be buried with his dog and horse.
William Tornay? Well, he was buried with them supposedly at his request, yeah.
Were they already dead?
Don't know the answer to that.
Because that would be harsh if you die and then they're like, well...
Maybe this is a dog.
Boom! Shoot the dog and then shoot the horse just to bury them with you.
Dog tethered wanting revenge. Grows wings in the afterlife but doesn't fly to heaven as an angel.
Or it's him going around looking for his horse. Maybe he's the origin of the headless horseman.
In the early 1900s.
Yes.
Yes.
I never said he died then. He could be the reincarnation. Died, came back, died again. Forced to live out the same death over and over and over again for 1,000 years. 9,000. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about now.
Yeah, I've got a little bit lost.
The moment you said the headless horseman from like way back, I was like, fuck. Why'd you have to hit me with facts?
Your brain took you down a pathway and was kicking away your breadcrumbs behind you. Looking to the logical as our last port of call.
So, you're calling bullshit then?
No, just the paranormal is the illogical, isn't it? People can't explain it.
Is it illogical
logic
if it's right?
Well,
Or does it become logical?
If it
at that
bends the
point?
rules we understand of science, then it's illogical to us, but it perhaps isn't in the grander workings of the universe.
So
So it depends on your perspective, my friend.
my perspective is wide.
4 foot wide. So can we explain the orb away with meteorological phenomena? No, we can't. John saw what he saw and other John found evidence. Questioning one John is questionable, but 2? Then John the 3rd saw the boys all scared at the pub. Indisputable. It wasn't a shooting star. Triple John. Logic. Evidence. In the 1970s, ufologist Chris Wolfe in sheep's clothing would determine that the group saw a crow. Chris didn't elaborate on how a crow could be 5 feet tall. See? The skeptics are scratching, but you can't keep a good honourable John down. Finally, on the sceptical side, railway workers didn't begin wearing high visibility clothing, easy for me to say, reliably until the 1970s, and the workers only stopped using lanterns a few years earlier in 1965, so it is possible that the friends could have seen a railway worker in 1963 whilst already heightened after having seen the orb UFO alien. But John's.
Triple John. Logic. Evidence. Bullshit.
Fact.
You still fail to elaborate on whether they were under the influence of alcohol.
So, moving on. We know they went to a pub after.
Had they been to a pub? Didn't they go to a party? Was it a house party? Was it a pub party? Swingers party? You know John loves them.
John loves a John. Party full of Johns. Look, you. Save your nayism till the conclusion. Because all I've given you here is hard fact.
If a bunch of Johns toss each other off at a party, is it
A John off?
is it an orgy? Or just mass masturbation?
What is the difference between an orgy and mass masturbation? I don't know why I'm asking.
An orgy, you're fucking other people.
Then
Mass
no.
masturbation, you're all just a bunch of Johns, so you're all one.
There can be only
You're
one.
like Jet Li.
Connected.
You're all the one. When you all get together, your power grows.
So hypothetically, if a John started offing other Johns, they could become the one John.
They could.
Interesting for my friend. Right, that my friend John. That is the probe before we get any more off topic. So, in summary, we've covered a case from the 1963 Kent area of the United Kingdom of John. A chap called John and some friends saw a red orb descending from the sky before seeing a possible ghost but probable half-bat alien creature ahead of them without a head. Bat slice. The orb had been witnessed by others. Meanwhile, a second John found big footprints in the general area, and a third John had seen the group scared as on the night of the sighting. We tried to explain this one away with science, but we found that we could not resist the honour and trustworthiness of the John, didn't we, Mr. Moonwalker? We both found that, Mr. Moonwalker. Do you have anything that you want to go back over before we conclude? No, you don't? Okay, let's conclude. It is aliens, folks. Woo!
Do we know if the light from the hedge or the bush was investigated and they found out what it was?
No. Just that little breadcrumb is left there No further analysis.
Okay. Okay.
Are you saying that it was aliens?
Until I have that mini bat-like creature sitting on my shoulder as a pet and I'm feeding it bits of raw steak, no.
You would not be sharing a steak.
I would for my little creature.
I choose you, Bat Slice.
Yeah.
So you're not.
Be like a little Pikachu, but bat slice.
I was going to say that it'd probably eat you, but then if it doesn't have a head, it doesn't have a mouth, does it?
Yeah, might be in its little body. Just couldn't see it.
It opens up like something from Stranger Things. God, Christ, this one just took an evil turn. Ugh.
It'd be like, yeah, have some steak.
It eats your whole hand. Oh, is that cool?
No, this is not aliens.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Triple Johns. Logic, evidence, bullshit.
Fact. Yeah, this one, I mean, it's arguable that this one contains the most significant evidence we've ever covered, isn't it? Mr. Moonwalker is nodding. Taking a step back, for me, the accounts slightly changed in different tellings to the media as the story switched from ghosts to alien. Not hugely, but for example, a cloak from the early accounts turned into wings, and the lantern got lost in retellings, probably as it doesn't fit the alien narrative. Having said that, the evidence is pretty convincing in this one. Completely unrelated to the names of any of the witnesses involved. I think I'm going to have to say that I'm not saying that it was aliens, but it was aliens. There's just something honourable and trustworthy about John, and John, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. I guess the evidence is just there on this one, right?
Well, if you're willing to put your reputation on the line and say that this one is aliens, I suppose I'm going to have to go with the power of a John. I'm going to have to agree.
Triple John. No, I can't keep up that facade, I'm afraid. There's just... No, that's not it. It is.
Then I'm in. Woo! Aliens!
No, sadly not. But it is. How long can I keep doing that? I don't know.
You're a John, so forever.
Yeah. No. Maybe? No. Right, well, that is a wrap for today. Thank you for listening to But It Was Aliens. If you have enjoyed this reliable episode and want to hear more of the truth, you can. If you head on over to that darkest of corners of the internet over at patreon.com/But It Was Aliens, you can choose to sign up to become a patron of the show for the cost of a coffee each month. We release bonus episodes we call Side Pros, which you will gain access to, and then you too will know the truth behind Rasputin's penis and skull, although to be fair, now everyone does know that, but there's more! Well, I can't even disclose what those little goblins do to skulls. You remember that one, Mr. Moonwalker?
Go goblin mode.
You can share episode suggestions with us on the Twitter.
On Twitter.
At But It Was Aliens. You can also say hello on Facebook, where connected to But It Was Aliens is a secretly public private group called Extraterrestrial Towers. Being a member of Extraterrestrial Towers grants you protection from the aliens when they invade. It's been said that if your name is John, you'll get special treatment, and I don't know where that's come from or what we've done to encourage that view, but it is not true. If your name is John, though, do let me know, as we eat and sleep in different quarters, but they aren't fancier. Sure, the beds are made of gold, but it was the only material around. That is it for this episode, so until next time, how many cans of Monster do you need to drink before you turn into one? I'm trying. The truth is up there. Hashtag.
So, are you going to tell them that the beds made of gold also probe them every 15 minutes?
Triple John.
Logic. evidence. Bullshit.